We didn't get pegged for that last time, so I'm going to keep using it.
Well, you didn't start the episode with sound effects, so that's a good plus.
Because the sound effects, for not wearing headphones, we're not going to be able to hear them.
See, this is what I was saying.
I know.
This is what I was saying.
What do you guys think? Let us know in the comments. Do you think that, do you like us wearing headphones? Do you think it's cool, weird? Do you like it better without headphones? I don't know.
I like how we ask the comments and we never, ever get comments.
Yeah. Y'all got to start watching full episodes.
I know. You guys got to start watching the actual YouTube.
I'm pretty excited to launch our the shorts that we just started making. I'm pretty stoked on them.
And you're probably wondering why we changed seats also today.
We have a very special episode.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Simon and I did like a fun little project last week where it's called Dodge and Burn.
On location.
On location. I was going to say in the wild. I kind of like that too.
I like that too. I haven't finished it yet. We could change it if we want to.
Right. But it's fun. It's like a little series where we just chit chat.
Be reels, YouTube shorts, all that good stuff. It actually came out really good. You haven't seen the full thing yet, but it's good.
I showed a couple people. They liked it.
Yeah. I dig it. So before we bring on our guest, who's very special to me.
Okay.
Sounds like you had a fucking week.
Bro. It's been a week. I had a 3-day Indian wedding, which was absolutely fun. It was such a blast. Kat from Eviva Studios, you might know her. She's a wedding planner. She put together a well-executed event. But that week prior, I actually, because I don't know if you experienced this, but like with your Teslas, sometimes they don't auto lock. Like you can walk away from the car and it doesn't actually lock. Has it ever experienced? Have you experienced that?
I've never had that with the Tesla. We have the Kia EV and that one just doesn't do it. That's not even an option. But the amount of times that I walk away and forget to lock it because of the Tesla is... So yours didn't lock, I guess?
Sometimes it didn't lock. And I had, stupid enough, had a camera bag in my car. And literally, it just happened to be bad luck. That night, they literally, you can see it on camera, they went and checked multiple cars. And one of my cars was one of them. It wasn't even that late. It was like, 8 o'clock or something like that?
They're just trying handles?
They're just trying handles. And came into my car and just took it. And it's crazy because like the security footage kind of, it's like.
Do you have Sentry mode on your car?
Yeah, but it was under 20%.
Oh no.
Exactly. So, and that's another thing too, is like, even if you are at like 100%, the Sentry mode doesn't always turn on.
Really?
Unless you turn it on. Like,
you got to get your car checked. All that stuff works on mine pretty well.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, yeah, that was a pretty interesting week.
What'd they get?
My Sony A7 and the lens. It was a lens and like some batteries and like a small little lens.
Oh, so it was a small bag. It wasn't like your full bag of stuff.
No.
Okay,
no, just small bag. Yeah.
And you're insured, right?
Well, yeah, I just filed a claim, but
it's just annoying.
It's annoying.
Oof.
I know. But anyway, that was my week.
This reminds me, because I have to do it too. I got to put some air tags in all my bags.
Yeah, I actually just bought some, so I'm going to put it in all of my main bags.
Did you see that thing? Ben Heish got his camera bag stolen and like found the guys and like...
Oh, you like chased them down?
He chased him down with the camera.
That.
It was pretty dope.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know if I'd have the balls to do that. But.
Right. But like Simon said, wait, no. Tell me about your week before I jump too far.
My week was good. I had a portrait shoot here a couple days ago, which is why you guys can't see. Studio's a mess. I had some pickup shots for a watch campaign that I'm in the process of doing.
Nice.
So it's like I had backdrop here. We got watches set up over here. I'm not showing anyone a picture of this because my wife will murder us. It's a mess. But yeah, I had just a ton of stuff going on this week. And my new band, that we have our first real show coming up on the 3rd in DC.
Nice. What's the name of your band?
Called Roy.
Roy.
What
does that stand for?
Doesn't stand for anything.
Just Roy.
It's just Roy. It was a very long...
Who came up with the name?
It's a very long story of us trying to think of a name and then someone saying that as a joke and all of us going...
Wait, I kind of like that.
Yeah, I kind of like that. But playing in DC on the 3rd.
It's a cover band?
Yeah, it's a cover band. It's actually my first like real like full band like big show in a really long time. I played with a lot of like smaller like acoustic acts, but like I haven't done a big show in a while, so it's gonna be fun. I'm stoked.
Yeah,
I've been drumming a lot. Yeah, so that's been fun.
Nice.
But let's talk about our guest because it's been a long time coming.
Yes. So I've been trying to get this person on this pod for at least a year at this point, and she's been ditching and dodging me. No pun intended.
You've been trying to get me to get this person on the pod, and I've been like, listen, I'm whatever she wants because happy wife, happy life, if that's not a clue for you. So
this person is essentially our unofficial producer.
Producer slash she does some of the TikTok content.
Yeah.
She's the one we send stuff to, is like, is this any good? And she's like, nah. So
So yeah, we actually have decided to finally bring on Simon's wife.
And by we have decided, he means that she has decided she would grace us with her presence.
Right. So if you guys didn't know, Magda is the second or the other half of Magda and Simon.
Let's not beat around the bush. She's the first half.
Well, yeah. So today we're just going to talk about just kind of like how it is to work with your partner, because you guys are together essentially 24 hours a day. And how does it, like, how
I
does
hope
it
you have
feel?
some good questions, because I have nothing to ask.
I do. So that's kind of why I'm sitting in this seat.
Yes, I figured.
I'm going to grill the shit out of these two.
I'm excited.
All right. Without further ado, please welcome Magda.
Hey, babe. She's
I had
back.
to say it again. What's up, Magda?
Hey, how are you?
She's so excited to be doing this.
So excited. Thanks for all the enthusiasm.
I'm really excited to be here with you guys.
I love this.
The thing is that I'm usually here for the podcast. I'm just not usually on camera.
That's exactly
so
what
this
we
isn't
said.
that different for me.
Okay.
But she has admitted that she has not watched a full episode.
I have not watched a full show.
Wow. I'm not surprised.
I know you guys. I hear what you talk about.
No one supports us.
I get the clips. I follow you on YouTube. Like what?
What else do you want from me?
Right.
Do the views? The views matter, right? I guess I could let
the
it.
views matter.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll do. I'll put it on and I'll
just let it play.
Yeah,
over
let it play.
and over
Yeah.
and over.
Okay, I'll do that.
So Magda, tell the people who you are, where you're from, what do you do, what do you like, who are you?
I like Simon.
Oh, okay.
That's a great answer.
I am Magda Warnowski, Simon Warnowski's wife,
Yes.
partner in business
And in life.
and in life.
And in childcare.
And in
which has been rough
childcare.
the past couple days.
It's been challenging couple days. Not a lot of sleep happening.
4.5 hours is my average according to my Apple Watch.
Oh, wow.
Until last night. I got 7 last night, so we're good.
That's
But
nice.
it's been
Yeah.
rough.
We had to drug the kids. No, we didn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes. I am a photographer by way of Simon teaching me photography, but my career is that I was a dance major in college at Muhlenberg College.
Nice. What kind of dance?
Like contemporary ballet and jazz theater.
Okay.
And then I thought I wanted to be a physical therapist. And so I went back and I did a post-bac pre-medical program at Villanova, which is sort of the path to becoming a physical therapist. At that time, I also became a volunteer EMT just for shits and giggles.
Okay.
Did some shadowing in physical therapy and realized that I did not want to be a physical therapist. I did not want to go through becoming a doctor of physical therapy, to not enjoy the role.
It's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money. It's a doctorate program. It's a lot. So,
I feel like so many people who try to get into physical therapy hit that same point too. Everyone wants to be, like you wanted to be a physical therapist for dancers, or like people want to be physical therapists for athletes. And then it's like, oh no, I'm going to work with old people for
That's what
a long time.
yeah, the roles in dance are limited.
Yeah.
And I realized I would probably be rehabbing like hips and knees and stuff in a strip mall in Phoenixville, Pennsylvania. It wasn't really.
Okay.
Wish you got a little further in it though. So like when all of our backs hurt after weddings, you can be like, I
that's
got
what we
you.
have Ginger for. Our
That
friend
is
Ginger
true.
is a physical therapist and told me, she validated that I made the right choice and not becoming a physical therapist.
Okay.
But I made a friend who worked at the University of Pennsylvania in research. I got a job as a research assistant. I became a research coordinator. I did a master's of regulatory affairs, the same degree that Ant
Shout out
has.
MRA.
Shout out UPenn MRA.
Here's to not having a higher education.
And now I am, oh gosh, this is a very long title. The Assistant Director of Cancer Clinical Research Operations for the Sidney Kimmel Comprehensive Cancer Center.
Damn.
At Thomas
I don't know if
Jefferson
I've ever heard
University.
the full title of that.
When you meet people, do you say, hi, I am the, do you say all of that?
No.
Oh,
I
okay.
usually say, if they ask, I say I work in research.
Yeah.
If they prod a little farther, I say I work in cancer research.
Where
If
at?
they're in research, then like I get into like, oh yeah, I'm an assistant director of like clinical
Yeah.
operations. And they say, oh, that sounds really important. And I say, yeah, I really just kind of like manage other people's problems.
As far as weddings go, we always end up having like a bridesmaid or someone who's in research, and she'll start talking. They're like, oh, you know what you're talking about.
Right.
But in terms of photography, I was a dancer in college, did choreography, did dance, did lighting design. And that lent itself well to doing photography with Simon. And
when we first started doing this, her like ability to pose people, and I guess I just never put two and two together, like, duh. Yeah. Those two things go hand in hand. But like her ability to pose people, I was just like,
I kind of like this.
How do you know how to, that's really good. I'm going to just take a picture of that. Thank you. Like,
so I guess like one of the biggest questions that like, I'm assuming you probably get asked or people think about that are married couples is, at what point did you decide, you know what? Let's do this together, because now we're going to be together 24/7. I'm going to see you at home. I'm going to see you at work. I'm going to deal with the kids together. Like everything is now together.
Well, I'm going to start this.
Yeah, please.
A little insider baseball here. That's not how this company started.
Okay.
The way it originally started was my buddy Dennis and I, shout out DSC Weddings, still shooting.
I always love how you look into the air. Like
I always forget which camera. I'm looking at my camera, but I forget which camera to look at. But anyway, so the two of us wanted to. We had been doing wedding video actually for a friend of ours. This was we were probably doing wedding video in 2011, like way back, like when the first DSLRs were doing video.
Jesus.
And we decided, we were both photographers, and we just sort of decided like, hey, we could do this on the photo side of things. Like we would love it. And so we basically started our own company, but the two of us were, what word would you use for our ability to be organized and attention to detail?
I kind of had to help them get it set up.
Yeah.
Which
So
is where,
go ahead.
I mean, that's sort of like how I got involved.
Yeah. So originally Dennis and I were the shooters, and she was like the business side of stuff.
Well, I was just like, I can't let these two people run a company.
That's exactly how it was.
It will go into the ground.
Oh shit.
And all three,
and organizationally, I mean, it just.
And none of us knew anything about the industry. So it was sort of, we were all learning together. And
so I was like, I'm organized.
Yeah.
You guys are good photographers. Let's all lean into our strengths.
So what was the name of your photography business then together?
SJDC Photography. Simon J, that's my middle name, and Dennis Claxon.
SJDC. Okay.
It was like 2012 when everyone was using initials, and you should have seen the font, man. It was just right up there with.
Just trying to figure it all out.
Yeah.
But after our wedding, and we had Lauren on before, it became evident that like, oh, wedding photography can be artistic and stuff. So it was something that Dennis and I were really leaning into. And I'm not really sure how the transition happened if you started shooting. I think
maybe Dennis wasn't available for a wedding, or you had a friend's wedding.
That definitely happened where you shot a friend's wedding with me, but it was, and it just sort of became, she sort of realized.
She just fell into it.
Yeah. I was a little resistant to it at first.
And at the same time is that she realized that she liked it and was good at it. Yeah. Is also when Dennis and I realized like, oh, she's good at this. Like she has an eye for this. Yeah. And so we sort of started splitting everything up. And then it became the point is, when we moved and Dennis moved to Jersey, and it became really difficult for us to make money with three people doing this.
And also you and I were like at home. It was easy for us to communicate.
Right.
Dennis obviously wasn't living with us. So like the communication thing was challenging too. I think we all sort of recognized that.
That's actually a good point, because I'm always curious, as a couple, right? You guys are with each other all the time. How do you separate work from being at home, right? Because Simon is extremely passionate about photography. Yeah. You may not be as passionate, but there's still going to be differences when it comes to working together in a certain moment. But like, how do you not bring those issues from being at work and like your personal life?
We don't talk about work a lot.
Okay. Well, here's the funny thing about it. Like, there aren't really issues from work. It's sort of like, I'm trying to think how to explain it. It's, every once in a while, we'll just be hanging out at home and Magda will be like, look at this shot that this other photographer did, or like, or she'll send me something like, we got to try something like this. Like, so I would say like there isn't a separation, but not in a good or bad way.
Because I'm just thinking in my head, like, let's say Magda missed their first kiss, or it's all blurry, out of focus. And then now you come home, you look at these images, like, how do you handle those type of disagreements?
We give each other a lot of grace and leverage in terms of the business.
But also feedback. We're really good at giving each other feedback. And, we've been married for 11 years. Like, we know that feedback is not coming from any other place of anything else. And like, generally the feedback is I'll find a shot that she shot. I'm like, babe, this is awesome. This is gorgeous.
And then I'm like, okay, I'll try to do more stuff like that. If there's stuff, I mean, we shoot so much on wedding day that even if there is a bad shot, it's like, yeah, well, that happens sometimes, you know, I think.
Yeah. And like the thing we talked about the other day, I forgot those memory cards.
Yeah.
That wasn't even like a, dude, what the fuck? It was just like, all right, we'll figure it out. Like it's.
Like in the moment, what are you going to do? Be mad at him at the beginning of a wedding day?
Well, some people
that's not
would
going
be.
to benefit anybody, you know? Like, it's just like, clearly he's disappointed in himself. He's pissed off that it happened. Me getting upset about it too isn't going to change the situation that we're in that moment anyway. But I think another thing that we do is we really delineate our responsibilities in the business. So there's not a lot of overlap. There are tasks that are mine. There are tasks that are his. And so there's just not a lot of opportunity to like talk about work outside of work.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, like you just mentioned, communication, right?
Yeah.
Communication is clearly a pillar of a successful business as a married couple. We'll get at the end, we'll get to like 5 things that you guys would recommend for married couples. But for right now, I kind of want to ask you another question, which is, so when there is, let's say, or like the creative spark, right? So if you work with someone consistently all the time, every single wedding, over 200, 300 weddings, the spark, I don't know, is it still there? Like, how do you feel that creative spark?
I would argue that it's there more.
Okay.
Because I feel a lot of relief in knowing what he's going to do. And he feels a lot of relief in knowing what I'm going to do at every wedding. And so those fundamental photos and those fundamental moments that you know you have to get at a wedding are covered.
Okay.
And so there's less pressure to make sure that, you know, I'm imagining the position of being a first shooter, having hired a second shooter in, right, to work with you. And you're like, okay, I work with a second shooter sometimes, or I've never worked with them before. I have to make sure that I get all of my stuff. I have to make sure that I get all the stuff that I would like hope that they get, but what if they don't get? And I told them to get, but just in case they don't get it, maybe I should cover that too. Our brain capacity on wedding day, we can really like pull back a little bit in terms of the things that have to be photographed. I mean, obviously you want to get all of it, but I think because I know Simon's going to do one thing in one moment, I get to be a little more creative otherwise. I think a good example, Sai, if you want to talk about what we do for the first kiss.
Oh, this is actually a running joke now because she's still at every wedding ceremony. She's like, did you get the parents? It's a joke now because I get the parents.
Yeah.
But this is the example we like to use. And we say this when we talk to potential new clients too, about sort of how we work together is I know that for the first kiss, Magda is going to take the hero shot. She's going to be in the aisle. She's going to get that shot, which lets me, one, be completely off to the side and get the parents' reaction to it because she knows I'm going to get that. And sometimes that lets me be even more creative. You know, I can get I can get the parents' reaction quick. And if they have a second kiss or a long kiss, I can run around and get something else creative. But it's like knowing exactly what she is going to get and having complete confidence that she will get that lets me basically do whatever I want in that situation. And the same thing goes with like cocktail hour is a good example. I am doing the grip and grins or the grab and grins or whatever you want to call it. I like getting reactions from people. I like getting them to show their personalities. A lot of people hate doing that, which sometimes can be a bore, but I feel like you can make it fun. And I know that, or she knows that I'm getting that. So she can take a little break if she needs to. She can get some really cool shots of the food, all of the decor, that kind of stuff.
So then do you guys talk about your creative process before each wedding? Like, how does that work?
On the drive to the wedding, a lot of the times we'll have the conversation of like, I'm going to try to get more of this kind of stuff today.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely, in speaking with the couple and sometimes the planner, you get the vibe for like what the couple is probably focused on for that day. We talk a little bit about what the wedding's going to look like in terms of color, style. And so that's an opportunity for us to say, I know it's really important that we get these things and we can be creative here.
This one's going to be rough today.
Or like the couple has told us they're not as interested in posed photos. Okay, so we're not going to spend as much time doing that. They really want to focus on documentary stuff. This is going to be like more of a Simon heavy wedding. Versus like the posed weddings tend to be like a little bit more.
And the other cool thing that we can do is we have a couple different shared photo albums in iPhoto or Apple Photos, whatever the f it's called now, on our phone of just inspo stuff. And some of it is wedding, but a lot of it, I got a digital subscription to Vanity Fair this year and Vogue, and like anything in there that is specifically not wedding is I'll grab and just screenshot it and throw it in this album.
Yeah.
And like sometimes on the way to the wedding, I'm usually driving, but we'll just sort of go through those and be like, oh, this would be something cool to try today or something like that.
And a lot of the times we've done an engagement shoot with a couple. So we sort of know like their heights and sort of things like poses that we could tell they were more relaxed in versus poses that were not as like easy and comfortable for them. And so we sort of utilize that. And we talked through that on the way to the wedding. Yeah.
I love how you were sort of mentioning your creative process, like as you're driving with your hubby on the way to the wedding.
Hubby.
Which kind of like brings me to a point where, because this is more directed to you, because I feel like you might be able to answer this question. And the question is sort of around burnout, right? Because you are married.
Out, yes.
Yeah, you're married to somebody. You are running a business with your partner. You were in grad school dealing with 2 kids, also having another full-time job.
Yeah.
Like, how are you able to juggle all those things as you're also just trying to like stay sane at the same time?
I don't know that I do it well. So I'm not sure that I'm the right person to ask. But I think I try really hard to keep a calendar. We live and die by our calendar. If it's not on the calendar, it doesn't exist.
And my to-do list.
Yeah.
My to-do list is huge.
Don't tell me about something later today. If it's not on the calendar, you're not doing it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, babe, a band rehearsal came. No, it didn't. Absolutely. There is no band rehearsal today. I'm so sorry to tell you.
So like, let's say there's a single mother out there who is also running a photography business, is working full time, has a
I should
kid or
also
two.
say, I think lean heavily on childcare.
Okay.
We have an au pair. After we had our second child, it became apparent that our parents were not in a position to help us as much. We needed childcare on the weekends. We needed a little bit more help in the morning and in the afternoon.
And fun fact, when you hire a 20-something-year-old babysitter and they get an offer to maybe like do something more fun on that day. Oh, the Friday morning before a wedding on Saturday. Oh, I can't make it tomorrow. Sorry. It's like,
yeah.
We have a wedding that we can't just call in sick for. So
Also, shout out to Amber.
Shout out to Amber
Just
and Tiff and Carabo, all our amazing au pairs we've had. But so sort of the cheat code is having another set of hands. And luckily for us, we're in a position that it worked out, and that's how we're choosing to spend our money for this short period of our time.
I should also say, I think another big part of it is, your other full-time job is fairly remote for the most part.
Yeah.
You have to go, you're going in 2 days a week?
I go in 2 days a week.
Nice.
So the rest of it, we both work up here for the most part. So it's like being able to be flexible with that is huge. So we are in a unique situation.
It would be very challenging if I was in office 5 days a week.
Yes.
Yep.
So with all that happening, like how do you, because again, this whole episode is about how do you handle working with a significant other, but the subsection of the episode should also be, how do you maintain a romantic lifestyle with your partner as well? Like, how do you keep the spark? Because you're constantly working, you're constantly taking care of kids.
I mean, I think for us right now, we make an effort to spend time together. We go out, we do trivia when we can get childcare, when we can shift Amber's schedule to accommodate.
And we do date nights.
We do date nights.
When we can.
I mean, honestly, the wedding almost feels like a date night. We're going out, right?
Dressing
this
up.
This may sound ridiculous to some people. What I was going to bring this up to is we have a really good, this is not just us bullshitting for clients. It's we have a lot of fun shooting weddings and we have a lot of fun doing it together. And we get paid to basically go to parties.
Yeah.
Right.
And you saw that amazing review. I mean, that kind of summarized how it is to work with a married couple.
The hour or whatever amount of time we have together on the way to the wedding. We hang out together during the wedding. We get to sit together eating dinner. We're there at what is most people's most happiest day. I think also not even to be sappy, hearing people's weddings and their vows and sort of people talking about marriage all the time sort of brings it back to
I would say there's at least 1 or 2 circumstances in every wedding where someone will say something in a speech or someone who's an officiant will say something. And it's just it's like a ding.
It resonates. Yeah.
So that I think is super helpful in a lot of ways. And and again, we just have fun doing it. And I'm emphasizing that because I feel like
hold on a second. There's been a lot of like sappiness happening right now where it's just all positive. The people want to know. They want to know what are the actual like challenges. Like tell us the hardest part about working together. There has to be something.
I don't know that we're the right people to ask.
I am not bullshitting you.
I don't know that we're the
I don't think we'd be doing this after 11 years if there was.
It sounds like total bullshit, but like truly,
hardest part of the day for us is getting out of the house without the kids losing their shit.
True.
But
that's a good point.
Our 3-year-old is going through some separation anxiety. And if he sees us getting dressed, he asks if we're going to work. And then it's a full meltdown. But like, truly, we're just not the right.
I'm trying to think of some good viral thing that you can be like, fuck her. Like, yeah.
Oh, I just want to, you know?
Honestly, there isn't.
I think we married the right person.
I know, right?
I don't know.
It's funny too, because, you know, I feel like me being a self-admitted complete emo kid all through my life, you know, the perfect partner when you're younger, you look for like, oh, does this person like the same music as me? Yeah. Do they like the same movies as me? You look for all these things you have in common. Magda and I have like none of that shit in common.
I was going to say.
I like sci-fi. She likes chick flicks.
Right.
She likes Broadway. I like, you know, emo and punk rock. Yeah. It's just one of those things that like, if you had told me that in high school that I would marry someone that has not a lot of the same interests as me, I would be like, go fuck yourself. Right. But I think it's funny because we sort of view life in the same way, if that makes sense.
Life partner.
And like, we have the same opinions on all of the important stuff. And
I also think it's good that we don't do all of the same things.
I agree.
I think that it gives us a chance to be separate and then be together.
But it also gives us a chance to experience something new. Yeah. Like I never thought I would be into contemporary dance, but there's some stuff you've shown me that I'm like, that's fucking awesome.
I haven't seen this dance. I want to see it.
Not to do it, like YouTube stuff.
Show me your dance.
Oh yeah, I can't fucking dance. You kidding me?
No, actually, that's been a little That's a challenge. Simon can't dance.
Although we did go to some dance lessons, and she saw a different side of me because when I get competitive and it's something technique based that I'm not good at right away, ooh.
Yeah, Simon needs to be good at things.
Okay, so kind of like tell us. I guess the people also kind of might want to know this question. People want to know. So when you are trying to attract a client, like kind of tell us about your process. Like how do you guys handle selling yourselves as a married couple to a client? And do they even is that what they look for?
Well, I'm going to start this off with what I've said to you before is like, we really don't like sell ourselves. I got into this industry because I didn't want to have to sell myself. Okay. And so
clients are looking for married couples? Is that
no?
I don't necessarily think that they're looking for married couples. I've on occasion heard that a couple went with us because we were like married versus other couples or other photographers that they were like interviewing or whatever. But I don't know that people seek us out as a married couple.
They generally see our work.
I would hope. I mean, I don't know.
Because I always wondered that. I'm like, is that a good? I know you don't sell yourself, but like, you don't sell yourself. But I know
I'm a lady of the night.
Right.
Happy Pride, everyone.
It's July now.
It is July. Oh
shit! Not happy Pride.
Wait, what's
anymore.
July now? What is it?
I don't know. It's just not Pride.
It's not Pride. Okay.
It's not Pride.
I mean, it's always Pride.
Well, so I'm just wondering, like, is that like a selling point? Because I'm sure there are photographers that are like,
I think we definitely do when we're talking with couples. We do definitely talk about the benefit of having a photography team that is always the same. Yeah. I don't know that that's like husband and wife or married couple specific. Yeah. But it is always me and Simon. So to speak to the artistic thing and to speak to, you know, knowing where he's going to be, which allows me to be a little bit more creative and vice versa. That's because we always work together. But I don't think that that's because we're married.
And I do bring up occasionally, like if we're talking about something specific, we can use the example of like, I remember when we were planning our wedding, or I remember, and it was, I mean, obviously it was 2014. So it's been a minute, but you know, there are certain things that like, you know, we talked about this a while ago about like sending follow-up emails. And I remember when we got married, one of my biggest pet peeves was the amount of follow-up emails I got from every single vendor. And because of that, that's a big reason we don't send a ton of follow-up emails because it pissed me off. it was just like overload. And I know that might not be the same for everyone, but for me, that was a thing.
And we may be losing clients because of it, right? But
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know,
right.
resonated with us. But
So it's nice to be able to bring up that we have been through the planning a wedding process, and we went through it before we were in the industry.
Yeah.
So we went through it very much as like newbies. So
Yeah. So kind of like shifting topics for a second. So on a wedding day, you know, Simon might wear a really fly linen suit with some like nice loafers, right?
Yeah,
As
Or
he
you
does.
might
know.
wear some snazzy looking dress,
Yeah.
something really chic. Got the bob flown in the air, you know what I mean? Has there ever been an instance where like maybe one of the bridesmaids you caught like hitting on Simon, or you saw one of the groomsmen hitting on Magda?
This
Got a
dates
little
back.
jealous?
No, this dates back
but
to when I was still
yes,
playing in a band
this
full
is what I
time.
was going to touch on.
Go ahead.
So more than at a wedding, I think Simon and I are sort of like a little bit older than I think most of the couples who are getting married now, which speaks to our experience, right? I don't know that anyone looks at the photographer on wedding day. I guess they must, right?
Oh, they definitely do.
Yeah.
I've gotten hit on many
you have?
times.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And maybe Simon has. I don't think I have.
It's a little bit different because we are married.
But
Takes a certain kind of bridesmaid to hit on a married dude whose wife is there.
if they know, I think
Well,
sometimes
Yeah,
they
that's
don't
true.
know. They don't, like sometimes it'll be later in the day and I'll be like, oh yeah, that's my husband. And they go, oh, it makes so much more sense now.
Oh, wow.
Just like the way we, like we're
It's
sort
the
of
way
like,
we talk to each other while we're shooting.
and I'll
Yeah,
just like yank him out of the way.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is she doing? But to speak to that, Simon was in a cover band and is now again in a cover band, which is a story for a different day. But
We touched on
talked
that
about
already.
it.
Yeah.
okay.
Roy.
But we started dating very shortly before he joined this cover band. And, you know, part of the thing was like going out and like being available and being cute and whatever. And which of course I think he is.
Oh God.
But
That was a thing, like from our
it was
agent
like
and from
the
like,
agent was like, be available.
yeah, it's like, you need to appear single,
And I'm
which
like-
is stupid, but
Yeah. I mean, he was very old school, but I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like, if you don't give me a reason to be concerned,
Yeah.
girls would come up, they would see that I knew the band, right? Like I'd be like talking to them or whatever, not necessarily Simon. And girls would come up and say, do you know the drummer? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, can you give, I have my number. Can you give it to him? And I'm like,
No way.
100%.
her favorite thing to do was
That's
when
so funny.
if some chick was like super drunk, she'd be like, do you know the drummer? And she'd be like, you should totally go talk to him. And be like, God damn it. Like,
Right,
yeah,
don't
it
talk
was,
to me.
yeah.
Yeah.
Or they'd like,
I
there's some,
thought it was funny.
there was some venues we would play where I would be in, you know, obviously as a drummer, you're in the back, and there's some that people can go behind you. There's like, you know, a fence there or barricade, and they
Yeah.
can't, but they
Yeah.
can get pretty close to you. So it's like,
Yeah.
like someone's tapping me while I'm playing. I'm like, what? And I said, hi.
Right.
Like, oh my
Leave me
God.
And I'll
alone,
just be off to the
please.
side. Like
But sometimes they would have a shot of Jameson that they would
Yeah.
pour in my mouth while I did. So I mean, that was fun.
there was
I don't
never,
mind that.
there was never a time where I was like concerned
Okay.
about it. Cause
What about-
I think it's more trusting Simon than.
Even,
What about
even,
you, though?
Even still.
Yes,
you know.
what about you?
Yeah. What about you?
I mean, it's the same
Here we
thing.
go. Here we go.
Yay.
No, it's something.
It's the same thing. You know, I feel like I can pick up when dudes are hitting on her more than she can.
I'm oblivious, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's the same kind of thing. It's
Yeah.
like,
I feel like though it probably affects women more than it does men, right? Like if I see a dude hitting on my girl, it doesn't really bother me.
I mean, it
But
depends.
like
I guess it depends what their response are.
A guy hitting or a girl hitting on me, she would want to, you know what I mean? She would want to kill this person.
I'm just not the jealous type.
No?
I guess.
Yeah.
I've never been that.
Not
I've
saying
never.
she's jealous,
No, but any girl, right?
Yeah.
Like I just don't. I don't personally like lean to that.
Yeah.
I don't know if she was flirting back, that'd be a different story.
I mean, yeah, that would absolutely be. I think if either one of us were,
Yeah.
you know,
So since you guys have been
reciprocating.
in business together for a couple of years now, what's one thing, and this is directed to both of you, what is one thing you've learned about your partner from being like in a business together?
Ooh, that's a
He
great
cannot
question.
have access to a bank account
or
Facts.
a credit card.
or a fact.
I'm not even his business partner, and I know that.
The problem
had
is
to
she
pull it
doesn't
all
see
back.
any of the stuff that goes out. She just sees the stuff coming in. So maybe we'll edit this part out.
Yeah, that would be my answer.
Okay.
It's funny because it's the role that you typically would think is like the girl, right? Just spending all the money. Nope, that's Simon.
I tend to, in the words of Mitch Hedberg, R.I.P., I have a problem. Let me pull out my toolkit, AKA wallet.
Credit card.
Yeah. Fixes it. But I think that I have learned the degree in which she can multitask. And that being said, it is so far beyond what my brain is capable of.
I guess that causes some problems.
Yeah. I mean, I need to have, and this is going to be like an ADHD versus whatever it is.
Oh, I've witnessed it.
Oh yeah, but I need a list, and I need to go in the order of that list.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't happen, I get so scatterbrained I can't keep more than 2 things happening, which given currently watch shoot going on, model shoot the other day, weddings, and now this band, it's just like I have to have this list of like, and then
things to do.
Here's all the things I have to do. And then I move them around as far as priority goes.
Sure.
And if I don't have that, I'm lost.
Yeah.
And she can just sort of keep her mind in 14 different places and know what has to be done. And then she'll be,
I'm sort of the same way.
Yeah.
I'm sort of the same way.
I think it must have something to do with like obviously you both have the same degree, and that's probably the way your brains are wired. But it's, she'll bring up something like, hey, did you get a chance to do this thing I asked you about, a week ago? And I'm like, well, that didn't make it onto the list. Like that was just, so.
Maybe I need access to the list.
Oh, I agree.
You do. Remember I made that whole thing in Apple Reminders.
Do I have access to it?
Yeah, you used to put stuff on it.
Fantastic. Okay. I've been reminded.
Yeah. She's just going to put stuff on and immediately put it at the top of the list. I'm like, hold up.
Priority 1.
Yeah, priority 1, laundry.
So in the beginning of this episode, we talked about how like communication was such a strong pillar of your relationship, keeping the spark alive, the romanticizing, your relationship still. Yeah. So like if there are married couples out there that sort of want to get into business together, it doesn't have to be photography. It could be any type of business. What would you guys say? And I'll ask, maybe you give me 5 things and then maybe Simon will give me 5 things. It could probably be the same because you guys are connected, right? And by the brain. Yeah. So just kind of tell me 5 things that you would give advice to for couples to kind of help them guide.
Is this any kind of business, or is this sort of like
okay. Yeah.
I think step 1 is, kind of what you asked, is that if you're going to be doing business in an industry where, it's, I don't want to say cutthroat, but like where you need to have that separation, I think there needs to be some kind of ground rules as far as like when we're at work, and when we're at home, which is
the work-life balance.
Yeah.
And don't take it, I think in tandem with that, like don't take it with you. Like don't let whatever happened at work that day come home with you.
Which I'm sure is, it just so happens that with what we do together, that's not really a problem for us. Right. But I'm sure if we did something other than photography together. Yeah.
Like my day job stuff can be really just heavy. And I think if you were involved in that in any way, it would be hard for me to separate that.
And it's funny too, because your day job stuff, she'll have a day and she's just like pissed off or whatever about it. And I'm like, hey, tell me about it. What's going on? She'll explain it to me. And like, it's nice. Well, it's not even that. It's just sort of like, why do you care about that?
See, it's more because I spend so much time trying to solve this problem.
I understand, but also it's sort of like, so I think that if it's in an industry where you need to have that work-life balance, like that needs to be like step 1 is figuring that out.
Yeah. Setting boundaries.
Yeah.
I think in going off of that, setting, and what's worked well for us is setting up responsibilities and tasks and have them be like clearly defined.
Okay.
So that one, what is your responsibility and what isn't your responsibility. So that, I thought you were going to do that. But also then like when something does, you can hold each other accountable. When something doesn't get done, that was always supposed to be your thing.
Yeah.
So I'm not mad at you that you didn't do it, but just know moving forward, that's your thing.
Yeah, so like Simon has to clean up the studio. Like that's, like we get it. Okay, got it.
All right, easy. But like, it's great too, because in that same vein, when I am having trouble with something, I'd say, hey, can I get some help with this specific thing? And it's like
teamwork.
It's 100%. And I think, that's huge.
Yeah.
And I think also, if it is a creative sort of industry, sort of recognizing each other's strengths and also weaknesses.
Yeah.
There's like during portrait part of the day, I don't let her, but she takes the reins because she has such a better eye for that. But also there are some days where she'll look at me and be like, I'm having a hard time today. Like, can you do this? It's like, sure. Got it.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think that could be a separate thing too, is understanding each other's strengths and weaknesses. And she knows, you know, as far as catching that quick, like moment of mom hugging son before it's like, she knows that I'm going to get that in a way that'll probably be a little more interesting than what she would see immediately.
Simon's my gear guy. I know nothing about the gear.
Yeah. So far we have communication, we have work-life balance, teamwork, just being aligned, right, on certain tasks.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you think is important?
Probably something to do with the finances, making one person more responsible for that than the other.
I mean,
but that might be a personality thing for us.
Yeah.
I would say make sure that you both care the same amount, which is like something that's
or that you're investing the amount that you care.
That's it. So you both equally want, like, or this is equally a priority for both of you.
Right.
And it doesn't,
I agree.
Well, hold on. Here's the big important thing though. It doesn't necessarily have to be at the same time though.
Right.
As long as, you know, you take it as both of you together are 100%.
Yeah.
You know, and if we're in a position where like she's had a rough day, and I'm not talking about at a wedding, I'm talking about when we're getting stuff done, like we're doing like a really small rebrand right now. And it's like, that's a whole nother thing that we have to invest time in. And sometimes I'll get done my day and be like, I just don't have it in me to do this. And she's like, cool, I'm going to work on it, or vice versa.
Exactly.
Right.
But like having the same amount of drive to care about the business is super important. Because if
and
one
being
person,
honest when that change, like when you don't have that drive on that day,
because we have both in probably
for that project even.
Yeah.
Like there are some projects Simon will want to work on. I'm like, this isn't a project I'm super excited about. I will support you in it, but I'm not going to be 50-50 with you on this project.
Yeah. And we have both had times over the past 11 years where one of us, thankfully not both of us at the same time, have been like, do we really want to keep doing this? Like, you know, whether it's slow bookings or just getting creatively completely burnt out. Like I think a couple of years ago, we had like 1 or 1.5 seasons where our stuff was just getting kind of boring. And I think that, you know, that was like a big, like, what are we doing here? And I think we both had that at the same time. We're like, what are we doing here? Like, we can do better than this. So I think that is super important. Just carrying the same amount, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I think sort of in relation to that, also being willing to like accept feedback and accept that your partner is not just your life partner, but your business partner, and sort of like coming to the table with an open mind about where they're coming from. When we worked at Apple, what did they call it?
Fearless feedback.
Fearless feedback, assuming positive intent.
Oh,
right.
I like that.
Assuming positive intent, and we could do a whole episode on stuff that we learned at Apple.
Simon and I used to both work at Apple.
Yeah.
I will say the training that we got in the early 2000s working at that store is I use that every single day of my life, and especially in business. And one of the things they sort of pushed was something called assuming positive intent. Little insider baseball here for Apple employees. I'm hoping they still teach this, but like assuming positive intent is like, we've all been in those situations where I'll use the example for a wedding. Like, you know, you get an email that the tone might be a little off, or it's like, why is this person asking for this, or blah, blah, blah. And like, you immediately get defensive or angry. But assume positive intent means take all of that out of the equation and just assume they mean well with what they're saying. Yeah. And it's like such like a mind fuck. You can totally turn around.
You have to let your ego down and kind of
totally can turn around. And like, that is such an applicable thing at weddings. Just, you know, hey, dad said this weird thing to me, but like, he's probably super fucking stressed today. Like, assume he's not saying that to be an asshole. You know, so I think that's like another big thing.
Yeah, like that related to couples or related to clients, but also related to like your working dynamic with the other person.
No, I think it's a beautiful thing, right? I think what you guys have is very, very unique, right? And special. I'm sure a lot of couples might want to strive to get to where you guys are at, but I'm assuming like, you know, you guys have said but didn't really say is like, there's stuff that happens behind closed doors, right? There's stuff that you'll never really let the public know. It's just, it takes time. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of effort to make this work. So when you see, Magda and Simon in public and they're killing it, they're doing a great job, just know that like they put a lot of work and effort.
Just know that one of us didn't get a full night's sleep last night.
Oh, 100%. Definitely.
As the producer of our show,
another job that I get paid so much money for.
So much money.
Which is usually just involves her sitting over there eating snacks quietly and
literally on the floor, cross
yelling.
legs.
Yeah, right. Judging.
Right. You know that at the end of each episode, we sort of do a hot button topic. Now, I try to like pull some things out of you two in this episode, but it's not clicking. But this isn't.
We
really...
definitely have juicy stories. We just didn't hit.
Oh yeah, you asked
we
the
met
questions.
at Gay Pride.
Oh, I know.
I thought he was gay.
But we talked about that though.
Did we?
I think
We
in one
did,
of the
yeah.
first
Okay,
episodes.
okay.
Yeah. He thought he was gay.
I mean,
Not a stretch. So let's be serious here.
So this is sort of an interesting question. So I feel like Simon has sort of ranted on this podcast a few times.
Simon ranting? Never.
Talking about like, dealing with difficult clients and things like that. So my question to you is, have you ever faced a situation where you were on the side of a client and Simon wasn't? Like, have you come across a situation where you both just didn't agree when it came to something dealing with a client?
I can think of some.
Okay.
And then how do you like handle that together?
I can think of a time where we didn't agree on how to handle a situation with a client.
What?
Not that I was on someone else's side, but go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, like, here's the other thing when you're going to go, ew, gross, like, this is mushy, but like, we do a good job of like, one of us always has a knee-jerk reaction at that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And it could be either of us.
Yeah.
Do I know who it is?
No, I'm saying,
No,
so it's equally like, it's honestly sometimes whoever reads the email first.
Yeah.
Oh, true.
True. And it's like the immediate knee-jerk reaction is like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
And like, sometimes it takes, I mean, there have been times where like we both read the email and been like, fuck that. But we always find a way to sort of smooth things over. But
Sure.
It's nice because if like she has that knee jerk reaction, sometimes being on the outside, being like, whoa, that was a big reaction, can be like, let's look at it this way. And she does the same thing if I have that reaction.
Yeah.
What I was going to say was like, there have been times very early on when people would come back with, because we used to edit very light and airy. And sometimes people would come back and being like, why is that blown out? And I would
the whole gallery.
Well, I would get super defensive about it. And she would be like, Sai, look at this photo. Like it's a little blown out.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, fuck, you're right. It's just sometimes having that second set of eyes or just opinions is helpful. But, there's
but has there been a situation where it's like, this is blown out, and then she looks at it and is like, yeah, I'm sorry, you say that it's not blown out and she says it is?
I mean,
and
I'm
you
sure,
just
yeah.
don't like agree. Like you
Not
just like,
really.
oh my God.
I know.
Give me some-
I wish we had something more. I know. I wish we had something more juicy for you.
Mostly it's like one of us will get upset about something and the other person says, let's sit on it for a day. And then we all sort of like come back to the center.
I mean, if you really want to talk juicy, we could talk about her like hatred for every single place that I decide to do a first look in, to the point where I don't where I don't fucking pick first look locations anymore. Here's how it would go every time. So I take him outside and find a good spot for first look. Every single time I'd be like, all right, this is nice. We're cool. And she'd come up and be like, what? And literally, it's not even like okay. It's a, why would you pick this spot? And I'm like, because the light is nice here. She's like, we could just do it over there. And granted, she's usually fucking right. But that being said, it's like, you know what? I'm just not going to pick them anymore. Now you can go pick them.
It's true. That's probably the juiciest.
I mean, that's the only time of the day where I get
It
like,
hasn't been sassy. It's just sort of like a slow transition.
it
to,
is
Magda,
always sassy. It's always sassy.
No. I mean, it's not sassy.
It's sassy.
No. I'm saying like the transition wasn't sassy to like me now just picking.
I mean, I felt some sass. I was like, you know what? You just do it.
I know. Yeah.
Hey y'all, that interaction right there was the most most you're gonna get. So
No, you know what? I think if you really want the juicy stuff, it's like when we're like stressed out from something completely unrelated, usually lack of sleep or something, and it's like one person will say the wrong thing. It's just like devil eyes. Like, are you gonna do this? Well, I already did that. Like, are you gonna do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the
We're
first thing
just
is
boring
like,
because we're like,
I
we
know.
enjoy each other's company and are
We've been doing it
and
for
are
too
good at
long.
working together.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I mean, if you
I'm
want us,
really
if you want
trying
us,
to
yeah, if you want us to go off on, other stuff.
Simon's like, I'm not gonna say anything until she says.
No, you'd say whatever.
We do differ on opinions about doing higher end weddings
Okay.
as far as
Yeah.
Well, we can save that for another
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
can.
I think we got as much spiciness as we could out of this episode.
Yeah, I'm really racking my brain.
She cut her hair short for me.
There you go.
I did. Simon likes shorter hair.
On that
And
note,
now everyone has the bob. Have you noticed that?
I did.
Simon likes shorter hair because he likes dudes, right?
On that note,
Happy Pride, everyone. It's July.
thanks for coming, Magda. This was episode
Thanks for having
20,
me.
by the way,
Oh, episode 20.
which I'm actually glad you're here because Simon and I are planning on doing a giveaway for
Oh.
episode 20.
Yeah, we are.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that we are going to launch it though on our social media, so you have to go and like and follow us.
Yeah.
Am I
on
eligible
Instagram.
or am I ineligible?
You are.
You could be.
When you see what the prizes, you'll go.
All right.
I'm already eligible for this. So,
Is it a date with Simon
Hey, it might
or
be.
Aunt?
Might be.
ooh, this could be good. I'm getting
Battle
ideas
of the
now.
dates.
A free info sesh? Like a little one-on-one.
Hey, you're gonna have to tune into the Instagram and find out, or actually watch our full episode.
I know, right?
There you go.
I will put the full episode on and fall asleep.
But
And get you those views.
we will have this up by the time this episode drops. So if you're watching this right now, hopefully on YouTube, but Instagram's fine too. Check out our Instagram and follow the instructions for your chance to win some cool shit.
All right. Cheers. Thanks, Magda.
Thanks,
Cheers.
guys.
I don't have the
All
bottle
right.
anymore.
Cheers.
Yay. Good
Peace.
job. Peace.
Bring the giants out, bring the giants out.